And he said to me, Son of man, eat what you find, eat this scroll, and go speak to the house of Israel. And I opened my mouth, and he fed me the scroll. And he said to me, Son of man, feed your stomach and fill your stomach with this scroll that I am giving you. And I ate it, and it was as sweet as honey in my mouth. Okay, so now let's understand the context of this. Actually, we'll go one more verse, then we'll explain. And he said to me, Son of man, go to the house of Israel, and you shall speak to them with my words. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people grew up thinking, how strange some of these prophets were asked to do certain things that were weird, like eating a scroll. Okay, so now from what we just read, are we picturing him literally eating a paper or a parchment scroll? No. This is all metaphorical. Because he's saying that this scroll, what he ate, was as sweet as honey in my mouth. Now, he then reads, he says, hears the voice say to him, Son of man, now that you've eaten these words, go speak these words. In other words, you take it in, like we've had other verses in this Heart of the Matter series on, lay up these words of mine in your heart. Lay up the Torah in your heart. In other words, take it into your mouth, digest it, and make it a part of you. So he's saying to Ezekiel, you need to understand, you need to digest this stuff because you're going to have to teach it, you're going to have to share it, you're going to have to speak it. But now when we read this idea of what he ate being sweet as honey, in case we're not clear what that's talking about, we have so many verses, and we're going to read a bunch of them right here, that talk about this metaphor. So you can hold your place here, but let's go to Psalm 19. Tehillim, Psalm 19. Give me a second to turn there. Okay, and we're going to begin in verse 7. Okay, Psalm 19 and verse 7. It says, The Torah of Yahweh is perfect, bringing back the being. The witness of Yahweh is trustworthy, making wise the simple. The orders of Yahweh are straight, rejoicing the heart. There's your heart again. See, this is supposed to be joyful, not this burdensome, awful law that the fathers couldn't even bear, that, the way Christianity puts it out. It says, look, the Torah is perfect, the witness is trustworthy, and making wise the simple. So, hey, we all think of ourselves as simple, so this makes us wise. And the orders are straight, rejoicing the heart. It should rejoice your heart. Why? Because it blesses you, keeps you safe, and changes you from what you are into what he is. That's what Torah does. So why wouldn't you rejoice? The command of Yahweh is clear, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, standing forever. The right rulings of Yahweh are true. They are righteous altogether. More desirable than gold, than much fine gold, and sweeter than honey and the honeycomb. Sweeter than honey and the honeycomb. Also, your servant is warned by them. In guarding them, there is great reward. See, this is part of what we're talking. So what do we think that Ezekiel is eating but the word of Yahweh? This sweet, honey-tasting thing, it has warning in it. It enlightens, it protects, it's trustworthy, it's true, it's perfect. It's more desirable than gold. He says, who discerns mistakes? Verse 12, declare me innocent from those that are secret. Also, keep your servant back from presumptuous ones. Do not let them rule over me. Then shall I be perfect and innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing before you, O Yahweh, my rock and my redeemer. You see how this connects to Ezekiel? Can you believe that the psalmist was writing this, understood what was going on in Ezekiel? And he says here, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart. Now, let's reverse that. It's the meditations of the heart from which the words of the mouth come out. So he's saying, let the words of my mouth come out of what's been put into my heart. And what should be put into my heart? All of this stuff, the perfect Torah, the one that's trustworthy, that rejoices our heart, that's clear and enlightening, all this stuff. He says, let that be pleasing before you, O Yahweh, my rock and my redeemer. See, so for the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart to be pleasing before him, he's just basically told you it needs to be his words. That's the most pleasing thing to him, is when you speak his words. And you take action that's based on those words. That's the righteous, right action. He says, look, the right rulings of Yahweh are true. They are righteous altogether. What is righteous? Doing what is right. That's what the word righteous means. So you're supposed to take the words that are laid up in your heart, the meditation of your heart, bring it out of your mouth, and have that then eventually manifest into right action or righteousness. Right action. So I think this is connecting us to the scroll that Ezekiel is eating. He says all of this stuff here eventually is desirable more than gold and sweeter than honey. Let's go to Psalm 119. Let's go to Psalm 119. And we'll look at verse 103. Psalm 119, verse 103. How sweet to my taste has your word been, more than honey to my mouth. So what's tasting sweet like honey? Yahweh's word. He says, how sweet to my taste has your word been, more than honey to my mouth. From your orders I get understanding. Therefore I have hated every false way. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn and I confirm to guard your righteous right rulings. So why would he swear to guard the righteous right rulings? Why would he swear and confirm unless he's been convinced that it does the things that we know the word does?